How you doing, folks? We're here at Agrimachinery Ireland in County Meath. We're here with Gordon. Gordon, tell me, who is Agrimachinery Ireland and what do they do?
Yeah, Agrimachinery Ireland, as you said, we're based in County Meath, Ireland. We are worldwide dealers of A and W trailers. So whether you're in Canada, Australia, New Zealand, America, west of Ireland, if you're looking for an A and W trailer, if you ring Agrimachinery Ireland, we look after your order from start to finish, including delivery. For example, or even abroad, we look after shipping and import approval. A&W is the guys in Carlow in Ireland who make the trailers, Adam and Valdek. They originally came from Poland and they manufactured trailers. So whether it be a low loader, grain trailer, dump trailer, potato box trailer, etc., we can look after you with trailers.
So they're Irish made?
Irish made trailer, oh yeah, absolutely.
And tell me, give me a rundown, what makes a good low loader? Start at the bottom and work up.
Yeah, I suppose, Dwayne, the main thing with any low loader, whether it be A&W or any other low loader, is two main things is the main chassis rails, with the two rails that run down the centre, down here, and the suspension. For us, we'll always put an under-slung suspension where the spring, the axle is over the spring. That allows, because it's a low loader, you obviously want, the whole idea is to keep the bed of the trailer low.
Yep.
And so by putting the suspension, the spring underneath the axle, allows that to happen. Now you wouldn't do that with a grain trailer or dump trailer. You do the opposite for a grain trailer and the opposite for a dump trailer because you want ground clearance for those two trailers.
Yeah.
A low loader, the main focus is to get the bed of the trailer down. Ground clearance underneath the suspension is not the main thing. It's at the end of the day, they're on hardcore at all times. After that is a major thing, and this probably should have been the first thing, is that the two rails down here, they have to be H-iron and not box. The reason why H-iron is because H-iron allows the trailer to flex. And if you have box, say a rectangular box chassis, your high possibility is going to crack. But again, it's the opposite for a grain trailer and the opposite for a dump trailer. Yeah. For a dump trailer, grain trailer, where the loads are uniformly put onto into the body of the trailer, you use a rectangular box. But for a low loader, where you have shock loading when you're tracking a machine up here, say 20, 25 ton machine, all the way here, could be in the corner more so than other parts, then it's here, and all the way up. And you're getting shock loading as it goes up, and you need it to flex. So for example, if you're in soft ground and you have your two hydraulic legs, so the hydraulic legs are on the bottom here, yeah. And if for some reason one hydraulic leg is on solid ground and the other is on soft ground, if the chassis was too stiff, you'd crack your chassis. Whereas if it's H-iron, it can flex, it'll allow it to, give a little bit. That's the main thing. And with a H-iron, and with this to do with any low loader, the H-irons must be left alone. No, you can cut into the flange a bit. So we've steering axles, we've one steering axle there and we've two steering axles here. And so in order to get your degrees of steering, you will have to cut into the flange of the chassis to get that steering. But by no means do you cut into the web. You never cut into the web. You cut into the web and you might as well put a hinge. The web is the horizontal part of the H-iron, and the flange is the two bits that come out either side. You can cut into the flange, no problem, and then reinforce it where you are, reinforce around it. You don't cut into the web. Cut into the web, you might just put a hinge. So if that's the H-iron up like that, and you cut into the web, you might as well just put a hinge on it. It's just going to crack. So that's the basic thing. Flexibility. Keep the body low, the bed low, and that's without going into too much detail, that's where your starting point is.
And then you said about springs. Are these on springs or on air?
So this low loader is on air, and that one there is on springs. So the majority of our market would be springs. Now, the advantage of air is, there's two advantages of air. One is that it runs smoother on the road, and the other is you get a better, if you have awkward equipment, the likes of tarmac machines and things like that, it might be difficult to get up.
Yeah.
So you have a less degree, it's easier to get up on an air suspension low loader, because every air suspension low loader should be able to dump the air. Now, in order to be able to dump the air, you must be able to get your tyres in behind the chime of the trailer. And then an air suspension low loader will have a different degree angle at the back. So we've, say, 6 degrees here, and this the spring one is 10 degrees. We've gone for a 3-foot beaver compared to a 5-foot beaver.
And then on the 4-axle there, I see flip toe ramps. It's obviously spec to suit low tower machines, Blanoxes.
Yes, so we have 4 different types of ramps. We have the cheese wedge ramp, which is the ramp which would be more suited to that beaver, and it flips down on itself, so the bed of the trailer is completely flat to the back.
Yeah.
The other ramp would be like a ramp like that, only 7 foot. That's a 9-foot one. And then you have the ultimate one, which is the flip toe ramp.
So the 4-axle here, would that have been a special order or a custom build, or is that a stock trailer?
Yeah, no, that's a stock trailer there. This is a custom build. So, for example, any trailer I get in for stock, I get them that more than likely the customer will buy. So that's a 32-foot long trailer, rear steer and axle, 19.5 twin tires, outriggers and 9-foot ramps. They're sliding in out ramps as well. These also slide in out. So these ramps will slide in,
yeah,
and they'll slide out to match the outriggers. The outriggers on this trailer is a bit wider.
They'll slide out past the chime of the trailer?
Correct, yeah. They'll go out a foot.
That's really what you would see a lorry low loader.
Basically, it's a lorry low loader with a drawbar.
Yeah.
It has everything a lorry low loader has. Like you have 10mm checker plate there. You have your heavy duty tie down points built into more or less the centre of the bed for crossing your chains.
That wouldn't be that common on an Agri low loader, would it?
So it depends. Back in 2017, 18, your standard trailer would be a 27, 28 foot tri-axle, no steer and 7-foot ramps, outriggers. As the years have gone on, that would be a standard trailer, 32 foot. That literally is a standard trailer now. So that's a trailer that everybody's kind of going for. So like a 28 foot, without even going into too much detail, a 28 foot with no steering, and you have a 32 foot with steering, it'll go in the same gateway, roughly speaking. Like they're with a steering axle. And the whole idea is basically, guys go and they go in the morning, come home in the evening, they have the load with them. They're not going back to site twice. Get everything home in one go.
Yeah.
And with the length of the trailer and manoeuvrability of the trailer with the steering axle, like the manoeuvrability of this trailer is it's unbelievable, because we've gone axle 3 and 4, and then we've shortened the beaver to make it less of a tail swing, and we've taken the supporting legs away from the back of the ramps. So we put our hydraulic legs on the bottom, and we've taken away the solid part here. So again, you're shortening the trailer. You're keeping the back of the trailer as short as possible. Get rid of the tail swing, or certainly reduce it. We steer axle 3 and 4. It is a serious manoeuvrable trailer, and that's actually we must do a video of that sometime, where we'll actually take a drone footage of it turning, and it's amazing.
So why buy a low loader of Agrimachinery Ireland?
Like we sell, so look, whether it be low loaders, dump trailers, plater box trailers, we have the worldwide dealership for A&W trailers. So whether it's any of the guys in Canada,
I can vouch for that. I brought a trailer to Southampton for you about 4 years ago.
You did, yeah, and that trailer
Oh, jeez, that's longer.
Yeah,
That's longer.
that it's Jeez, it's
No, it's 4 years. It's 4 years. Yeah, I was driving for Matthews. Yeah.
that is in
New Zealand that was going, was it? Or Australia?
Melbourne, Australia.
There was 2 of them went over in the one hit.
Yeah, 2 of them went to Melbourne, and then the other ones went to Sydney, and then other ones went to dump trailers went to Perth.
So you have trailers worldwide.
Yeah, so basically, when you deal with, I work like extremely close to the factory. Like, I'm talking to the factory twice a day at a minimum. So if you talk to me, it's like talking to the factory. There's not like a big disconnect between the dealer and the factory. We're into detail, speccing trailers exactly how they want them. If you deal with Agrimachinery Ireland and you're over, say, in Australia, you ring one phone number, you talk to me, one person, and you get the specification, you get the price of the trailer, you get a lead time, you get shipping costs. We would start import approval. So once we start building a trailer, we'll start getting import approval, get that documentation on the way. So we'd have a guy over in Ireland looking after the shipping, then we'd have an import approval person in the country of where the trailer's going to.
Yeah.
Because that paperwork all has to be on time, and there has to be no delays in the port.
So essentially, when the trailer rolls out of the workshop, it's ready to go. It's not sitting in the yard for a couple of weeks waiting on paperwork.
No. The main thing about export is that there has to be no delays to far side. So, for example, if that goes to a port in Australia, that trailer has to get out of that port ASAP. You'll have a certain amount of time to get it out. After that, you're going to incur costs. And so all the paperwork is in line before it leaves the factory. It's too much of a risk to do the paperwork while it's heading to Southampton in the UK or heading over on the boat to Australia. So all that paperwork has to be in place.
So someone rings you, they know they need a low loader, they're not sure what they need. How do you spec that low loader for them?
Yeah, so if somebody rings you, you find out what kind of work are they doing with the low loader, and you kind of, one of the big things which will decide on price is it going to be spring or air. 95% of trailers will be that spec on springs, and then you have 5% that will be on air. Now a lot of air is starting to kind of take off there a bit more. Then I'll ask the guys, so what kind of digger. So for example, if it's a 13-ton digger, you may not need the outrigger, so you'll save that. But in saying that, and if it's a 20-ton digger, you'll definitely want outriggers. But even at that, I would never sell. I don't think I've ever sold. I've never sold a low loader without outriggers.
It's kind of the thing when you're buying it, you buy it once and it's there.
Yeah, because you buy a trailer. If you buy one of these trailers, you're going to be looking at it for a long time. And if you do sell it, it will walk out of your yard if it has outriggers. If it doesn't have outriggers, you'll get it very hard to sell.
Yeah.
So at a bare minimum for a low loader would be 28 foot long. I'd always go for 19.5 tyres. 95% of my low loaders will be on 19.5s. That's just general feedback from lads over the years.
As compared to the 17.5.
Yeah.
What do you find is the advantage of them?
Less hassle. Now, it's a bit of a grey area because technically speaking, if the load rating and speed rating is you can get the load rating and speed rating the same on different tyres, on different size tyres. Now, I don't know if lads got caught with narrower tyres and smaller tyres years ago and it just said enough is enough. You put 19.5 tyres on a low loader, it's more or less hassle-free. Like, for example, I had a guy who had the 17.5s, he had a narrow 17, I think it was a 215, 17.5. And he said he'd go, before he'd head off in the morning, he'd walk around the low loader and check his tyres because it was always a high possibility of something wrong. You put 19.5s on it, out the gate, gone, no hassle. Now it's a bit, and I know people might say, well, if the load rating is the same and speed rating it shouldn't be. I don't know whether the like you'd have them on lorries. You'd have 17.5s on lorries and no hassle. Whether the Agri low loaders are going on rougher ground on bigger stones or just, I'm not too sure. But 19.5s. It does leave the bedded trailer a little bit higher, but it's a more reliable tyre.
But you're compensating it by keeping your axles out when you're putting in your rails.
Yeah, like and again, that's another thing that I probably should have, like, when you're at the basics of a low loader, is that you want your tyres out as far as possible. We'd have them out, now we're out limited there because for an air low loader, you need your tyres to be able to go in behind here.
Yeah.
So when you drop the air, that doesn't damage the tyres. And so we have that there. But by having your tyres out here, you do have to compensate here by reinforcing it and putting gussets underneath. But by having your tyres out, that means your two rails are now out to the max. And where your suspension connects to the rails, the wider that is, the more stable your low loader is. So basically, all these low loaders are, built for 20 plus tons. You go into a corner with these low loaders, because there's a stiff suspension on them, and because the chassis rails are out to last, it won't roll going into the corner.
Yeah.
So they're more stable. They're a beauty of whether it be spring or air, like they're a beauty of a trailer to pull, well balanced. You obviously don't want too much weight in your tractor. Your target weight for a tractor is about 3 to 4 ton. That's all you want. So with the two low loaders, we have the air suspension low loader here and the spring suspension low loader here. With all low loaders, we have these hydraulic legs, which are back here at the very back, so taking all the forces directly down. And we have them on that low loader as well. With a spring suspension low loader, the beaver is 5 foot with a 10 degree. But with the advantage of the air is that we can, as you can see, the tyre goes behind the chime. That allows you to drop the air about 100 mil, and so you reduce your angle here down to 6 degrees. So again, for getting the likes of tarmac had machines or awkward equipment up on it, air suspension, that's where it comes into its own. You also lift axle on the air as well, and your rear steering, axle 3 and 4 steering. So that's kind of
and then what is the lead time roughly from someone rings you and you agree price, spec?
Yeah, so roughly 3 months. We'll always have a stock trailer. Basically that trailer now is going to a customer who, I think the customer is only his new low loader about 6 months, and it's cracked, chassis is cracked. So it likes of that, chassis is cracked, low loader back to where it came from, and that's replacing it. So we'll always have that in stock because that is a low loader that will sell the best. The likes of these, you're talking about 3 months. Depends, around about 3 months.
From looking at these, they look a heavy low loader, but in saying that, they look a strong low loader. Like when I used to look at low loaders or pull them, we'll say you had a timber floor, whereas here you're mostly checker plate.
Yeah, and again, going back to, say, 2017, 2018, all timber. A low loader like that would be literally all timber from front to back. As the years go on, kind of this one has a bit more timber than that, but that's customer spec. Again, we have this Carnoon timber. It's a ultimate kind of hardwood for lorry. They use it for truck trailers, lorry trailers, but we have it in our low loaders.
Gordon, just looking at this trailer, I'm looking down along the side of it. Very user friendly. A lot of tie-in points frequently down the trailer, and I'm seeing grease nipples the whole way down the trailer. That's
yeah. So we obviously, the guys down the factory designed the low loaders. But basically all the detail that you see on these low loaders come from customers. So
this is all feedback you have taken on board, you went back to the factory, and here it is.
It sounds a bit simple, but it's the customers that design the trailers.
Well, you're not laying under a tiny grease axles,
yes. Yeah, like we're not there trying to get the chains out. For example, this here, we're not trying to get the chains out at night. And like, for example, if the lights of the tractor lighting up that, it's easy. You're not damaging your fingers trying to get the timbers out, chains out. So
Well, normally any low loader you see the chains is fired above in the headboard and the hay.
yeah, and like and really, we probably don't go anywhere, but legally they're not allowed to do that anymore. Like a simple thing, like the bucket rails there at the front, you can take them up and put them in here. So you put in your buckets if you don't want to tie them down if your track machines or dumpers here or whatever.
Oh yeah.
So they can and again, if they're taken off on the site or taken off in the yard, they're going to be crossed and damaged. Whereas you take them off, they put them here. If the guy is carrying scaffolding or shuttering pans, you get extra support. For example, if you had a jam on the brakes, you double the height of your headboard, so you get extra support there. Then,
another thing that I'm seeing here now, the 4-axle, you sold it recently, and it has been working.
Yeah,
We're after having a lot of bad weather. I'm looking in at the chains and the timbers, and they're bone dry. These toolboxes are fully sealed.
Yeah. And like, for example, like that toolbox there is a floor and roof, and like it's simple things. I don't know. We just do it. It makes sense to do it. Maneuverability will be obviously a big thing for guys, because the general trend is the trailers are getting longer. As I say, 4, 5, 6 years ago, you're 27, 28 foots. Well, now this one's 32. This one is 34, so it's 31 plus the 3-foot beaver. And that is, so once you go that length, you now need maneuverability. And that's why we have a steering axle in the rear there, and we have a steering axle there. So we steer 3 and 4. We shorten the beaver. We've taken the support leg away. We've analysed every aspect of the trailer. Like every aspect of this trailer, that was redesigned. That design early 2020. That was designed. The same customer who helped us design that, done this. Plus a guy down in Cork helped us design this as well.
When you say helped, you went to him and said, how could we make this better? What would you're pulling it every day, what would you do?
Oh, those customers. So basically, we had a guy down in Cork. He knew exactly what he wanted. He wrote out a spec. He changed the spec 17 times, specification. But that wasn't a problem, because everything he was telling us to do made sense.
Yeah.
This and plus this customer, this trailer has been literally redesigned from front to back. Every aspect of the trailer has been redesigned. It might look the same, but it's not. It's built for heavier weights. It's a longer trailer. It's ABS brakes, flip toe ramps. So accessibility of getting machinery in the back is a hell of a lot better. But this is not for everybody. That's going to be 95% of the customers is that. Getting your 20-ton track machines up, get your Volvo dumpers up, that's it. And with the sliding in net ramps, that just makes it easier to get the likes of rollers up and that. Yeah. It's a lot safer.
Yeah.
And I kind of think, with again, when it comes for speccing a stock low loader, I've added in sliding ramps, and we probably keep that in. And so you can see we can put galvanized tubes on the side there. So those sockets are already built into that trailer. So if the customer decides in a year's time that he wants to get the galvanized tubes, you just buy them and put them in.
Because some sites, to get up on a flat trailer, you need a fall protection system, is that?
Yeah, we can put a strap across it, yeah. And then that trailer, again, it's a stock trailer, but it's built for bucket rails as well.
Yeah.
And then it's also built for bale rack. You can see where the plastic caps are in front of it.
Oh, yes.
So it can be added to in the few years without damaging the trailer. So all those can be added without modifying the trailer.
You said earlier one of the designs that you do is the cheese wedge. That's a very universal trailer. That essentially turns into a flat bale trailer, and then you can add on
a bale rack in front.
These are, so if I was on a low loader in the morning, these are on it.
Standard. So
if I decide 2 years' time I'm going to move bales, ring you up.
Get a bale rack.
Oh. Yeah, so the customers really, you're thinking of the customer all the time.
Yeah, so the likes of say one particular customer would have for the cheese wedge ramps would be a guy building sheds. If he is long lengths of...
he can bring his beams, he can put his teleporter up on it then, yeah.
Yeah, and if he wants to overhang his beams, he can, because he's not restricted with the ramps.
Yeah.
So if he's long beams in the shed. And then, but I'd say, percentage-wise, I'd say 90% of them would be that. Again, come back 4 years ago, it would be a 7-foot version of that. But that trailer, I'd say 90% of the trailers would be that spec. Your bigger tires, your outriggers, and your 9-foot ramps sliding in, and the steering axle. Steering axle, I've sold 2 low loaders in 4 years that do not have a steering axle. Every low loader, more or less every low loader has a steering axle on it.
Yeah.
And that's one thing I would...
It's easier on the low loader.
It's easier on everything.
Like it's not fighting with itself.
It's not fighting. And because low loaders nowadays, with the regulations, the axle spacings are a bit further apart. So if you get a low loader, an old low loader, the axle spacings will have been closer. So technically speaking, if you got a low loader, say a 28-foot low loader, say 20 years ago, and a 28-foot low loader now, the older low loader would have been easier to manoeuvre because the axle spacings were closer together.
Yeah.
So with the regulations of spacing out the axles, it's just a no-brainer is to put a steering axle. I know because you're going to be looking at this trailer for a long time. This is a trailer.
This is a one-off lifetime investment. It's going to see you out like.
And so a steering axle is not going to break the bank, and you'll be kicking yourself if you don't buy it, I think. And as I say, 2 trailers in 4 years that don't have it.
Yeah.
And like we have hydraulic legs, standard. It's just, I suppose, reinforcement around the wheels, gussets, H-irons, like the main thing is the 2 rails down the centre. If they are wrong, the trailer is going to be wrong, and it's going to be wrong for life. It's going to crack, more than likely crack, bend. If it's going to bend, it'll bend around this area here, because that's where your Achilles heel is. But the 2 H-irons down the centre, they have to be H-iron, and you have to leave it alone. Don't start cutting into it. If you do want to reinforce a H-iron, you must do it uniformly. That if stress hits that reinforcement plate, it just spreads out. It's like a flow of water. That you have a flow of water hitting a particular point, and you need to distribute that away. If it goes into one particular point, which what happens if you cut into the H-iron, it'll just crack, and it's like everything going to one point.
Yeah.
With A&W trailers, probably 70% of the work is just low loaders. And once you can master a low loader, it's a big thing,
The rest will follow.